The diner's neon sign flickered weakly against the dark evening sky, casting a pale red glow across the rain-soaked street. Inside, the low hum of chatter and clinking cutlery filled the air, ordinary sounds of an ordinary night. But what happened next would be remembered forever by everyone who was there. It began with a cry, a fragile, trembling voice that broke through the comfort of routine. And within minutes, an act of cruelty would shake every soul in that small-town diner, until unexpected heroes arrived. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing up for what's right, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness Vibes. Let's spread more light in a world that too often forgets how to be gentle. Her name was Lily Carter. She was 17, small for her age, and walked with a slight limp that she tried her best to hide. A car accident 3 years ago had taken her father's life and left her right leg partially paralyzed. Since then, she had lived with her mother in a modest apartment above an old hardware store. Despite everything she'd lost, Lily carried an inner light, that kind of quiet strength you could feel just by looking at her. She worked part-time at the diner after school, saving money to help her mom pay bills and dreaming of one day becoming a nurse. That evening, she was serving tables like always, her soft smile hiding the pain in her leg, her hands steady despite the ache that never truly left her. The diner was filled with the usual Friday night crowd, families, truckers, and a group of high school boys who always seemed to find amusement in mocking others. They'd been there before, loud, careless, and cruel. Lily tried not to look at them as she passed by their booth, balancing a tray of coffee cups. She heard them whispering, snickering. One of them, the ringleader, a tall boy named Rick, smirked as she limped past. "Hey, hop along," he muttered under his breath. His friends burst into laughter. Lily pretended not to hear, her eyes fixed on the counter as she placed the tray down. But bullies, as they often do, can't stand being ignored. Rick stood up, swaggering toward her, his laughter echoing through the quieting diner. He said something cruel, something about her leg, her father, her broken life, words meant to humiliate. The other customers shifted uncomfortably, some whispering, some pretending not to see. Lily turned slowly, her eyes glistening. "Please," she whispered. "Just leave me alone." Rick sneered, leaning closer. And then, with a quick, heartless motion, he slapped her across the face. The sound cracked through the diner like thunder. Her tray clattered to the floor, coffee spilling everywhere. The entire room froze. For a moment, time itself seemed to stop. The boys' laughter echoed hollowly before fading into silence. Lily stood there, trembling, her cheek burning, tears blurring her vision. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The waitress behind the counter gasped softly but didn't intervene. Fear hung heavy in the air, fear of confrontation, fear of getting involved. Lily didn't cry in front of them. She simply bent down, picked up the broken cup with shaking hands, and limped toward the back door. The room remained painfully silent as the bullies sat back down, smirking in false victory. Outside, rain poured harder. Lily sank onto the back steps, hugging her knees, her uniform soaked and stained. She whispered to herself, "Why can't people just be kind?" It was a question that echoed in the empty alleyway, unanswered and aching. Inside, life resumed, uncomfortably, guiltily. The bullies joked again, though softer now. The cook muttered something under his breath, and a few customers shook their heads. But no one had done anything. Not one person had stood up for her. An hour passed. The sound of engines shattered the night's stillness. Deep, rumbling, powerful, the kind of sound that vibrates through the chest. Heads turned toward the window as a line of motorcycles pulled into the parking lot. The rain hissed against chrome and leather as a dozen riders climbed off their bikes, all wearing matching jackets with a faded emblem on the back, the Iron Saints. They weren't local, but their presence commanded attention. The door swung open, the bell jingling faintly. The leader, a broad-shouldered man with a gray beard and eyes like steel, stepped in first. He looked around the diner, every booth, every corner, as if reading the air itself. Then he spotted her, Lily. She had just come back inside, drying her eyes, trying to act like nothing happened. The leader walked over to her, his voice gentle but firm. "You okay, sweetheart?" Lily blinked, startled. "I'm fine," she whispered, though her trembling hands betrayed her. He glanced at the faint mark still red on her cheek. His jaw tightened. He turned slowly toward the booth where the bullies sat. They froze under his gaze. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. His silence alone spoke louder than any threat. He walked up to Rick's table, leaned down slightly, and said in a calm, low tone, "Did you put your hands on her?" Rick tried to laugh it off. "Just a joke, man." The biker didn't blink. "Was it funny?" he asked. The room was silent again. The kind of silence that carries the weight of justice long overdue. One by one, the other bikers stepped closer, standing behind their leader, a wall of leather, strength, and quiet fury. Rick's smirk faded. He muttered an apology, his voice shaking. The leader didn't touch him. He just pointed toward the door. "Leave, now." They left, quickly. The moment they stepped outside, the tension broke. The bikers turned back toward Lily, and the leader placed a large, gentle hand on her shoulder. "You don't let people like that define who you are," he said softly. "You're stronger than they'll ever be." For the first time that night, Lily smiled, a small, fragile smile, but real. The bikers stayed for dinner, filling the diner with laughter and warmth. They tipped generously, complimented the cook, and before leaving, they pinned one of their badges onto Lily's uniform, a small iron emblem shaped like a wing. A reminder, the leader said, that there are still good people in this world. When they roared off into the night, the diner felt lighter, brighter. The people who had once stayed silent came up to Lily, apologizing, offering kind words. Something in the air had changed. Maybe courage was contagious after all. Later that night, Lily stood by the window, watching the rain wash away the day's pain. She touched the little badge on her shirt and whispered, "Thank you." And somewhere out there, under the dark highway sky, the Iron Saints rode on, searching for the next soul who needed to remember that kindness can still win. If this story touched your heart, if you believe that standing up for others still matters in this world, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Vibes. Your support helps spread real stories of courage, compassion, and humanity. Herb's special request. Comment below, I believe in kindness. Let's fill this space with hope and light.